Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom and today I'm going to give you my review of Avatar: The Way of Water, the 2022 movie that needs to take a reported $2 billion to break even. The movie was directed by James Cameron, whose writing duties are shared between Cameron, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, who both share credits for the Planet of the Apes reboot trilogy and Jurassic World. So great to decent is probably fair, but not terrible writers. Now, spoilers straight off the bat with this, because even the cast has big spoilers, and if you don't want to know anything about this movie, stop here, go watch it, come back. Still here? Great. The cast includes Sam Worthington as Jake Sully, Zoe Saldana as Neytiri, Sigourney Weaver as Kiri, Stephen Lang as Colonel Quaritch, and Kate Winslet as Rondell. I didn't even realise it was her or that she was in it. And returning Joel David Moore playing Norm, who was the science guy from the last movie. So there is still a continuous thread from Avatar 1. A synopsis from IMDb, because we always do that, we'll see how accurate it is. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the extrastellar moon Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what was previously started, Jake must work with Neytiri and the army of the Na'vi race to protect their home. What? Have they even seen this movie? I mean, I suppose that's kind of it, but... So I saw this in 3D. I haven't seen a movie in 3D in over a decade, and quite frankly I think 3D is a terrible gimmick and I'm glad it's gone. But everyone said the first was amazing in 3D and I didn't see it in the cinema, so I thought I'd give this one a chance. Do not see this movie in 3D. To nobody's surprise, this movie is visually stunning, but sitting in a dark room with grey tinted 3D glasses on not only dulls the colour of the visuals, but also blurs the edges of the screen and takes away from the overall detail in both fore and background, and I regret paying the extra £3 for a 3D ticket and bloody glasses that I'll never use again. To make matters worse, I got home and found a pair of 3D glasses from years ago on the bookcase, covered in dust, that I probably used 10 years ago. I could have taken those. 3D has not changed in over a decade, and it's very sad that this movie has brought it back purely to boost its box office numbers. 3D rant over. On to the next thing. I'm going to sound like a broken record if you watch my Avatar 1 review from a couple of days ago. There is a lot that I quite liked in the first 45 minutes or so. The setup, like the first, is very good. I actually really like how they set up Jake Sully and his family. He has 2 sons and a daughter with Neytiri, and they have an adopted daughter who is the child of Sigourney Weaver's character's avatar. I know I'd normally tear into the story at that point, but it does actually make sense, and it's not just a way of bringing back old characters. Speaking of bringing back old characters though, we have Stephen Lang, who again is excellent, but he's back as the main villain Quaritch. Now this is totally stupid. Basically, they sent a download of him and his team's individual brains and all their memories back to Earth to turn them into Na'vi. So the story for this movie is the Sky People return with Na'vi clones of the Marines from the last movie, and they're going to hunt down Jake Sully for revenge. This sends the Sully clan to the other side of the world, because Jake isn't a fighter anymore, to join the water clans, where they have to learn the way of water. That's an actual quote from the movie. The water clans, who are basically, from what I can tell, Maori based, like the forest clans from the first movie, are Native American based. But now it's time for the Sully clan to learn the way of water, while Quaritch learns the same things Jake did from the first movie, give or take a few scenes. Oh, and Quaritch had a 2-year-old son who was left behind by the humans when they left at the end of the first film. And that son is now living with Jacob, but he got kidnapped, so he's now teaching Quaritch the Navi stuff. And cue the middle part of the movie, and it's nature documentary time, again missing that David Attenborough narration. But this is where we spend almost the rest of the film until it's big action time. So you know how the last movie was about deforestation? This one's about whaling. From what I can understand, there are 2 main reasons that the humans want Pandora. The first is that Earth is dying, so this planet, a planet where humans can't breathe outside, is going to be Earth too. The second is that there's a fluid from Navi whale glands that stops humans aging. So that is now the most valuable thing in the universe. Hence the whaling. They're not even back for the unobtainium minerals that they were there for the first film that they had to abandon. That's not even mentioned. The story is better than the first movie, but it's still nowhere near decent or well executed. But let's try and end this on a bit of a positive, shall we? Visually, this is mind-blowing. Just don't see it in 3D. The level of detail is just as incredible as the first. Overall, the CGI might be better. It's not overly noticeable, but it is still truly amazing. Where this movie really shines is the water physics, the rendering, the way the water moves. It's phenomenal. You've never seen water like this, unless you've seen real water. The final 40 minutes or so is just the big action sequence, much like the first. It's visually stunning. Amazing action, as you would hope from a James Cameron movie. But there are also a few moments of levity, which is nice. I'm not going to spoil it, but the standout for me was Zoe Saldana. She's not in this much, but when she is, she really gives it everything when she needs to. Now, I wanted to see Avatar: The Way of Water to see if technology had moved on in the last 13 years. In some ways it has, and visually this truly is a masterclass of CGI. But outside of that, I was left wanting more. They had me in a cinema for over 3 hours, and I left disappointed. If you loved the first movie, or just enjoy a blockbuster action movie, go and see this on the biggest 2D screen you can. Just don't worry about taking a bathroom break in the middle, because you're not going to miss much. This is basically 2009's Avatar with a different environment. If you enjoyed this review, please subscribe to The Voice of Todd for more, and check out Todd Plays Games, the home of all my Let's Play content. And let me know what you thought of Avatar 2 if you've gone out to see it in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.